Start. And I'm going to start a story with a story here. So anyway, little Johnny gets up from bed and his mom says, Johnny, you got to go to school. And he says, Mom, I don't want to go to school. All the kids hate me. And she says, Johnny, you got to go to school. And he says, Mom, you don't get it. Not only do all the kids hate me, all the teachers hate me. And she said, Johnny, you got to get up to go to school. You're 40 years old and you're the principal, so they're expecting you. So it's kind of the same thing happened to me yesterday. I was getting up and Kathy says, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to school. And she says, Louis, you're 63 years old. You've worked there 27 years. It's really not school. It's work. So I thought, oh, God. So it's work. Well, what do I do? So I was pretty lost, confused, unclear, disoriented. So as any good researcher, what I did, I Googled Google, I Bing, and I asked to see what I did. So I started out pretty simple. In my case, I wear several hats, so I thought, well, I'm going to look and see what the definitions of what those particular jobs are. Well, so I looked up chair, and I thought, well, I might get kicked around a little bit, but I don't think anybody really sits on me, so I'm not a chair. And then so I looked up director, and if anybody knows my musical ability, I would not be a director because a director is somebody that directs an orchestra. So I thought, well, I'll go down to what my real job title is. I looked up professor, and that was somebody that had all these religious beliefs, and I thought, that isn't quite me either. So then I thought, well, what am I going to do? Well, I know somewhere along the line I had a job description. And some of you just got your first contract letter from UW Stout, and you get your contract, and it tells you you're going to do this stuff. And then it refers you to the handbook. And then the handbook refers you to UW system policy, which refers you back to the handbook, which refers you back to the department. So I really wasn't very sure what I did. So I thought about it a little bit more, because this is like, when I started scrolling through this stuff, this is what it looked like, and this is just too perplexing. So I thought back. About 10 years ago, I was at a strat planning meeting. And I knew I was at a strat planning meeting because it was in a hotel meeting room and they had flip charts all around. And one of the things that they came up with is saying inspiring innovation. And some of you have been at meetings with me sometimes, and I'm not always the most agreeable person, but wow, that's pretty awesome. I think that's a pretty good tag for what we do at Stout. So looked at it, and I thought, well, that has to do with something what I'm doing, because we got these signs, we've got newer signs now, but hanging up all over campus, so that must have something what we're doing with. So I looked at, inspiration is the arousal of mind to a special level of activity, creativity as a part of solving problems, many times with guidance. So I think that's what we do with our students. We inspire them. We use all sorts of things, but inspiring worked pretty good. Well, got to innovation. And innovation is a little more vague of what we talk about what innovation is. So if you went way back to the 1850s, Joseph Schumpeter was an economist back there during the Marx era, and he started out with these definitions, technology, enterprise, and you had invention, what was the technological process, the idea, conception of new ideas. Innovation, the technological change process, building the conception of new ideas, really taking things to the marketplace. That was invent. No. Did I read that twice? Okay, the innovation process involves the development of new ideas to the marketplace. Innovation is really taking that idea and taking it to the marketplace. And then the last part is diffusion. That's where it's really common and everybody buying that product. And in most things, the people that are innovators make a lot of money. It's like, people talk about inventors getting rich, but inventors don't necessarily get rich. If you go search patents online, there's a lot more patents than there are rich people. So we're going to look at a couple examples of invention, innovation, and diffusion. Okay, who invented electricity? Or is given credit for inventing electricity and light bulbs, that kind of thing? What?
Ready kilowatt.
Ready kilowatt. That was only in Minnesota, Wisconsin, I think.
Go with Edison. Edison? Go with Edison.
What?
I'll go with Edison.
Tesla. Ben Franklin.
No, it was actually Humphrey Davy in 1802. So the inventor of these concepts obviously wasn't a household name. So I'll give you a better clue here. So who was the innovator? Who started taking electricity to the marketplace?
Tesla.
Well, he's got the picture up there now.
No, yeah, I'm giving you a hint. It wasn't Tesla. Well, Tesla worked for this guy. Edison. You know, and that's the interesting thing about Edison. You know, they talk about Edison being this inventor, but he had all sorts of people in the lab, and one of them was Tesla. Who brought electricity to the marketplace? Was the diffusion? You can still see his name. George Westinghouse. Who did George Westinghouse hire after Edison said that this guy was wrong? Tesla! You knew that Tesla was coming. Yeah, because what was the problem with Edison's concept of electricity?
Direct current.
Yeah, and what's wrong with direct current?
It's tougher to distribute.
Yeah, it's tougher to distribute. Where alternating current just flows around. And this is all kind of trivia stuff, but another trivia part. What was Edison's big problem with alternating current?
Tesla.
That was probably part of it. He felt it was dangerous, and that's why he invented the electric chair to show people how dangerous alternating current is. Okay, we're going to get a little bit more into modern times. So, graphical user interface.
Xerox.
Yeah, Xerox PARC was the inventor of the graphical user interface. Did they make much money off of it?
No.
What was their problem? Huh?
Tesla.
No foresight.
Huh?
No foresight.
No, they really thought of it all in the concept of copy machines, and they really didn't. I mean, that was one of their big problems. So then who was the innovator with the graphical user interface?
Microsoft.
What?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Apple, Steve Jobs. And to this day, Apple's made a lot of money off of this. So we got Xerox PARC, we got Apple. Then who was the diffusion of the... Bill Gates made it, Microsoft made it cheaper, more readily accessible.
Less reliable. More correct.
What?
Less reliable.
But even though that Microsoft and Bill Gates did pretty well for themselves, what's the difference? Why is Apple probably in some ways considered more successful than Microsoft? Because they make a lot more money per unit. For Microsoft to make any money, they had to sell stuff really cheap. So it kind of goes along here. You got the invention, not much happens. Innovation is here, and then it kind of goes like that in the diffusion level, and some products it drops off, some of them it doesn't. So that brings me to the end. I figured out now what I do. Kind of a catalyst, and that's what we all kind of do, even though we may be teachers, professors, whatever. But the catalyst, you give people ideas and you let them expand on them. And I came up with this job description, Inspiring Innovation. And so that's pretty much it, except some schools had visioning sessions this morning for all morning. But you can vision all you want, but a vision without implementation is just a hallucination. And I did this for a couple